What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. We hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and that you are getting more and more excited for the 2021 Dallas Cowboys season. That's the regular season, although we are halfway through the preseason. The Cowboys will play a preseason game at home for the first time this year on Saturday night when they play the Houston Texans. It looks like Amari Cooper is going to play. Dak Prescott may or may not play. We found out, though, on Tuesday about 5 players who will not be playing. That's right. Tuesday, August 17th was an important day across the National Football League, part of some rules changes that happened this offseason. The NFL mandated that every team in the league get down from 90 to 85 players by today at 3 p.m. Central Time. The league mandates that every team has to get down from 85 to 80 players by this time next week. So we are here to tell you about the 5 players that the Dallas Cowboys moved on from on Tuesday. A little bit of an interesting set of maneuverings for the Cowboys, not quite 5 releases, but let's go ahead and start with the aforementioned releases. And Brennan Eagles, wide receiver, obviously his name was something that a lot of people had a lot of jokes, low-hanging fruit jokes to say. Brennan Eagles, released by the Dallas Cowboys, now no longer a part of the team. It's hard to make this team as a wide receiver. If you are a lower-level guy, and I mean, the competition is so stiff. We obviously know, we mentioned Amari Cooper, but Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Cedric Wilson, there's your top 4. Noah Brown is number 5, maybe even number 4 in some people's eyes. You've got Simi Fehoko. Right now, we've got Malik Turner, Reggie Davis. There's just so many people that are now scratching and clawing and fighting for one of these roster spots that, you know, it's just too many mouths to feed. And so you have to move on from some people. And Brennan Eagles is somebody who the Cowboys have moved on from. They have one other outright release, and it is a cornerback, Kyron Brown. Again, there's a lot of people at this position, especially down the line. We're starting to see a lot of the rookies play a lot more. Nashawn Wright, Kelvin Joseph, obviously, not that their spots on the roster are in jeopardy or anything like that, but the Cowboys just moving on. Obviously not big fans of what they're seeing, or big enough fans to hold on to these players at this point in time. So it makes sense for them to move on. These aren't really shocking by any means. This is just kind of what happens when you have 90 players on your roster and you have to start making some cuts. So those are the first 2, and those are the outright releases. Those players are no longer affiliated with the Dallas Cowboys. We wish them the best in their future football careers or whatever endeavors they pursue. Now, this next one is a little bit interesting. We're talking about linebacker Anthony Hines, who the Cowboys gave the waived injured designation. Now, technically, the Cowboys are waiving linebacker Anthony Hines, which means the rest of the NFL has 24 hours to put in a claim for him. If he is not claimed by another team across the National Football League, he will revert to the Dallas Cowboys injured reserve. And remember that where we are at in our current time within the season, in the fact that we're not at the regular season, any player who is placed on injured reserve right now is not eligible to return to the regular 53-man roster in the regular season. The NFL did keep one rule in place that they adjusted last year with all the COVID protocols, the number of players who were on and off rosters, etc. Last year, the league allowed for an unlimited number of players to be brought back from injured reserve. Used to be you could only bring back 1 player. Then they adjusted that to 2. This year, the NFL kept that unlimited number. We'll see how that works. It's something I think we're all a fan of. It allows for some roster creativity when you're in a bit of a bind. But if you are placed on injured reserve in the preseason, you cannot be brought back to the regular season roster in the regular season. You are there for the duration of the season. So we will see if Anthony Hines is a member of the Dallas Cowboys injured reserve squad in the next 24 hours, but he is technically subject to claims as of right now. And that spot, like we talked about, specifically wide receiver, not technically as much cornerback, but there's just so many people. It's so hard to make the roster right now at linebacker if you are further down the roster, further down the depth chart. And so it's just an uphill battle that is too difficult to climb for some. Now, told you all about the injured reserve designation. I think you like to know those things. I mean, that's an important detail when it comes to the NFL and roster construction in our current day and age. But it's important because the Cowboys have placed 2 players on injured reserve at the moment. The first one, going back to the cornerback position, Reggie Robinson, one of last year's 4th-round picks by the Dallas Cowboys. Shout out to Tyler Biadasz, the other. Reggie Robinson is now on injured reserve, has the toe issue, not going to be something he's going to be able to come back from this season, and he is now officially gone until 2022. You could look at this as stashing Reggie Robinson for the future, which I think is definitely the way to look at it. And we, kind of like we talked about with Kyron Brown, that position is such a weird, it's not as tough from a competition standpoint as wide receiver or linebacker, but it's hard to figure out. And there's going to be a lot of moving parts. And so if you're not 100%, it really did not seem like Reggie Robinson was going to be in a position to make the 53-man roster this year. So this allows for more time. And if you extrapolate, if you look down the road, down to 2022, who knows if Anthony Brown is part of this team? Who knows if even Jordan Lewis is part of this team? So the door definitely opens up for Reggie Robinson to make the Cowboys roster in the future, but he is now on injured reserve. We will not see him until 2022, but it will be exciting when we do see him. I think we all still generally believe in Reggie Robinson. Now, he is one of two players who the Cowboys have outright placed on injured reserve at the moment. The other is fullback Shewo Olanilua. Always a difficult last name to pronounce, but I nailed it perfectly. Congratulations to me. We've known that he's dealing with the neck issue. Mike McCarthy has talked about how it is a serious injury. This is interesting in that it likely means or potentially means the Cowboys are not going to carry a fullback. That would not be surprising. They didn't carry one in 2018. They haven't carried a lot of backs in general in the Ezekiel Elliott era, but Shewo is now on injured reserve. Maybe Nick Ralston's able to challenge for a spot. Who knows? That's definitely one question that is raised in all of this. But the Cowboys now have a fullback on the roster, on injured reserve, that is, for 2022. So definitely hoping the best for Shewo and Reggie in their recovery. Can't wait to see them healthy in 2022. So a quick wrap up on where we are at with the 5 players who the Dallas Cowboys moved on from. Again, it's a really unique situation to get down from 90 to 85 players on their roster. We have Reggie Robinson. We have Shewo Olanilua, the 2 injured reserve players at the top. We have Anthony Hines, who will revert to injured reserve if he is not claimed by another team. And then the outright releases for the Cowboys: cornerback Kyron Brown and wide receiver Brennan Eagles. None of these are really surprising, I don't think. I'm not shocked by any of these. I doubt that you are. I think we all would have been a little bit bummed if the Cowboys had cut Reggie Robinson. So I think we're all fine with that. We're all happy that he's a part of the future, that his spot is secure in some capacity for 2022. But this is the first step. The Cowboys now at 85 players on their roster. Like we mentioned, they will have to get down to 80 by this time next week, and we will have a recap video for you then once the Cowboys move on from 5 more players. This game coming up against the Houston Texans, it does seem like it is the one that Mike McCarthy is going to be treating as what we used to know as the 3rd preseason game, the dress rehearsal, etc. The fact that Mike McCarthy said on Monday that he would not play Dak Prescott, at least in the final preseason game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, intimates that that is an opportunity for some players lower down the roster. But so lots of action to come. We're talking on Tuesday afternoon in our present moment here. There is an episode of Hard Knocks tonight, so we will be having a live stream as soon as Hard Knocks is over. When the episode ends, wherever you're watching, HBO, HBO Max, put that down. Come to the Blog on the Boys YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed and watch. It's going to be myself, going to be Roy White, going to be Meg Murray, going to be Tom Rao. We're going to talk about everything that we see throughout the episode. We're doing this all throughout Hard Knocks. We really enjoyed it last week. If you don't get a chance to watch live, maybe you can't watch tomorrow or whenever the case may be, we will be podcasting these conversations for you as well. You can listen on the Blog on the Boys podcast network. We are available on all major podcast platforms. Please subscribe, leave a rating, and write a review. The Dallas Cowboys will host the Houston Texans on Saturday, as mentioned. It's a busy week. Good times are here. Football season's here. So we're very excited about everything we have coming up. I'm RJ Ochoa. You know me, of course, from BTB, from here on the channel, from the podcast, from all over the place. The BTB universe is going strong. And football season, well, it's rolling right along, my friends. So thank you, everybody, for taking the time to join us today. All the best to the Cowboys players that the team moved on from in different capacities on Tuesday. You have a great day. Have the best day ever. You know why? Because you deserve it. Thanks for joining us, everybody. See you next time.